everybody. Thank you for continuing to listen to the podcast. I appreciate all the downloads and all the suggestions and all the love. But I will have to say that I am such a gracious podcast host. And the reason why I'm saying that is because this week I'm actually letting one of my rivals on the podcast. He is one of the biggest A&T haters I know. I do not appreciate him. He marched for South Carolina State. Just kidding. I do appreciate him. He's a good dude. His name is Jamie Brunson, and he marched for South Carolina State, the Marching 101. He played the tuba. He has a really good story, but right now he is a successful principal. He is also a DJ. He's got a lot of good stuff going on. But the only thing that I don't like about him is that he continues to spread falsehoods and fallacies about A&T. No, seriously, the two of us, we fight like cats and dogs, but we are like brother and sister. I mean, this is my dude. So anyway, I'll let him tell his story. So here we have Jamie Brunson. I am here with my friend, Jamie Brunson. Jamie marched for South Carolina State. And I tell you, we've known each other for a good 20 years, and it's always some hate on his side. He's the biggest A&T hater, the biggest A&T hater that I know. But anyway, I thought it would be really good to talk with him and find out more about him, because you have a really interesting story that I think people would benefit from. So how you doing, Amy?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good. Okay. All right. So we'll just go ahead and get started. So Jamie, tell me where's your hometown?
I'm from a small town called Cameron, South Carolina, which is roughly about 5-10 minutes from Orangeburg. So you might as well say I'm an Orangeburg local.
Okay, good. And Jamie, I know that tuba is your main instrument, right?
Yes, indeed. Most definitely.
Okay. All right. So what made you want to play the tuba, and how old were you when you first started to learn?
Interesting enough, growing up as an Orangeburg local, we always went to the South Carolina State homecoming parade or the Orangeburg Christmas parade. So I'd always see the 101. And I can remember my mom telling me from being a little baby, I would always emulate the tubas when they came down marching down the street, and I could march just like them and whatever the case may be. So when it came time when we could join middle school band in 7th grade, band director asked me what I wanted to play. And interesting enough, I said I wanted to play the saxophone. I don't know why. I don't know where that came from. I wanted to play the saxophone. I didn't get an instrument in time to begin school. And the band director was like, "Hey man, I need a tuba player. You want to play the tuba?" I said, "Yeah, sign me up." And the rest is history.
Okay, all right. So what high school did you go to, and were they like a mini 101?
Okay, so I went to Calhoun County High School, which is in St. Matthews, South Carolina, my county seat. And we were a core style band.
Okay.
Yeah, we were a core style band. But my band director was a 101 alum. Needless to say, but he went to Orangeburg Wilson School in Orangeburg, big black high school, was also a core style band. But we were a core style band, but we in the stands, we kind of got down a little bit. You know what I mean? We were at a Hey Baby band. We did play traditional R&B, pop tunes, rap tunes, whatever the case may be. So went to a core style band. So the transition was, I'm gonna say rough, but seeing the 101 my whole life, it wasn't so hard, and then having the opportunity to go to summer band camp my senior year, transitioning into my crab year, helped out a lot. I can say it gave me a jump start on that transition. But yeah.
Okay, good. So you were in this band that did kind of like the best of both worlds, like you had core style on the field, and then maybe, R&B, like stuff that HBCUbands did in the stands, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay. All right. So I know that I grew up in a college town too, a city where there's an HBCU located. So I don't want to assume, but why did you want to go to South Carolina State?
I went to South Carolina State to be in the band.
Okay.
No, but my family has a deep tradition of attending South Carolina State University, so it was only right. My actual choices were between, this is a crazy story too, my final two choices were between Florida A&M and South Carolina State. Yeah.
Not imagine you at FAMU. I couldn't imagine it.
I'll tell you. So I was supposed to go to FAMU's band camp the summer going into my senior year of high school. prior to me going to Tallahassee, I got accepted to go to Boys State here in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know what Boys State was. All I know was I was going to Tallahassee that summer to go to band camp, and I was going to be ready. And when I got that invitation to go to Boys State, my mom was like, "Oh, you going to Boys State?" I was like, "But what about band camp?" She's like, "Oh no, you going to Boys State." Mm-hmm. So I went to Boys State. And it was in Spartanburg, South Carolina. So the whole ride to Spartanburg, I'm mad. I'm supposed to be going to Tallahassee this day. But by the time I left Boys State, it was actually a very great experience. Got to meet one of my mentors, my good frat brother of mine, 2 times, as a matter of fact. Grammy Award-winning trumpeter and band leader of Ranky Tanky, Charlton Singleton. Yeah, Charlton, crazy story too. He was only the band director 1 year. And that year, his old band director from Wando High School in Charleston used to be traditionally the band director at Boys State. But for some reason this year he couldn't do it, so Charlton stepped in. So he's a one-on-one alum. He steps in and he's the band director at Boys State. So he said, "You gonna be in the band?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna be in the band up here." Audition, sat first chair 2 or whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But so did the audition or whatever, and of course, that band we played a lot of marches and things of that nature, but he allowed us to delve off a little bit, so we were able to play fanfares and riffs and things of that nature. So, just meeting Charlton that time and, kind of keeping in contact with him, that kind of even fueled my fire more. Say, hey, I might need to go to Orangeburg. So senior year, applied. I got in everywhere I applied to, but I was like, I'm going to Orangeburg.
Okay. So who else in your family went to South Carolina State?
My dad went to South Carolina State. My mom went to South Carolina State grad school. And she went to Claflin undergrad, but she went to South Carolina State grad school. I have tons of cousins that went to South Carolina State, aunts and uncles. It's just deep. We were just a South Carolina State family. But I was the only one that was in the 101.
Really? Okay. Were you the only one that was like musically inclined, or just the only one that chose to march in college?
Only one that chose to march in college. Others went. I have some older cousins that marched, but not immediate family. But I have some older cousins that marched, but immediate family, I was the only one.
Okay, good. And last question I want to ask about in high school. You said, were you like section leader? You said you were first chair. Did I say that right?
Yeah, listen, so my high school is pretty small, actually. Probably my first 2-3 years, we probably marched about 100. But needless to say, I was a section leader since my first year in the band. I came into the high school band as a section leader.
Happened?
There were 3 of us that played tuba, and I was in the 8th grade, actually. I was in the 8th grade, and the other 2 were freshmen. And I was just better than them. And the band director was like, "You're going to be the section leader." So when he would ask my opinion, and I wasn't even at the high school yet, they were looking at me like, "Why you actually the 8th grader?" But it was just like that. I've never been able to elude leadership. So
okay,
I was, yeah.
Okay, good. So you graduate high school and you get to South Carolina State, and tell me about your first camp as a college student.
So, like I said, I gone to some summer band camp. So, you get there, everybody's nice, yeah, come on, you're going to come to Orangeburg, it's going to be great. Yeah. And you arrive at camp that Sunday, and you're loading up your dorm room and everything, people helping you move in. It's all good. And the first practice is at 5:30 a.m. Monday morning. And they tell you, practice is at 5:30. You better be here before. So you get there at 5:15, and you're already late. Okay, you're already late. So where our campus is set up, our practice field is right in front of our stadium at that time. So we block it up, and I think we're getting ready to march to the field. And the drum majors blow the whistle and say, "Let's go," and we take off running. Oh no, what is this? So we run down to the practice field, and you're dying, and you get through that first practice, and you get to breakfast at 7 a.m., and you can't eat because you're so worn out.
Because you have 60-pound tuba on you. Yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And you can't put this horn down. Mind you, now you've played this horn all your life, but it's different now. But first of all, it's a Con 20K. So if you know anything about a Con 20K, it's a very heavy horn. So you go from this horn you playing in high school to the Con 20K, and and it's when your shoulders out and you a crab, you got to stand at attention. You can't put your horn down when the upper class put their horn down. You just standing there, and you get to that second practice and you get to that third practice. So I think at that time we were probably practicing probably about 5 times a day throughout the day. And it started at 5:30 and we were done probably at about 10:30 p.m. So after about the first 3 days, I called my mom. I was like, I don't know if this is for me. Come get me. I won't go home. And she was like, yeah, right. Okay. You experience the cramps and things of that nature, the hurt ankles and everything. But, after a while, you get used to it because it's something that you want to do and you're in love with it. So you adjust.
Right. Okay, good. So when was your first game, and do you remember who you played, or was it a battle of the bands, or was it a game?
Our first game was a game. We went to Furman in Greenville, South Carolina. So Furman is a PWI, but those folks have a grand admiration when an HBCU band enters campus. So we arrived, and we had done some small performances in the area, but as far as game atmosphere, that was our first game. So we arrived at Furman that morning, and they lay out the red carpet. They invited us to the cafeteria. We ate. Well, it might be one of the best breakfasts I had forever on a college campus anyway. We went and ate, and once we eaten, this game was a 12 o'clock kickoff. So if you know anything about South Carolina, in late August, early September, it's blazing hot. So I guarantee it's 300 degrees outside. Right up on that wool uniform. We block it up. We march in that stadium at Furman, and I mean, it's just a big whole time because, of course, Furman's not doing what we're doing. And this was the largest that the one-on-one had ever been at this time. So at this time, we were probably about 290. And we roll up into the stadium. We have one of our new uniforms. Shouts out to 1996, our new blue uniforms. And we roll up in there, man, and it was just, whoa. And you'd practice and practice and practice, but you go out and do that first performance, and that nervous energy is rolling. And boy, you're like, oh my God, this is real. And you get through that show and you come off that sideline, you're about to die.
Especially in the wool uniform, 12 o'clock in South Carolina in late August with a 60-pound instrument.
Yes, indeed. Lord have mercy.
Wow. It's a wonder that you made it. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you. Yes, indeed.
So talk about like some of the games or some of the more memorable matchups you remember, and it can either be through your freshman year, your crab year, or it could be through all the years that you've marched. But what were some memorable matchups? Okay, so from that year we got an opportunity. We had a battle of the bands that we did every year in Charleston, South Carolina. And if you know a little bit about South Carolina, the legendary Mr. Leonard McLeod is the band director at Burke High School in Charleston. And he's a Florida A&M alum through and through. So every other year, probably, he would get the 100 to come up to Charleston for that battle of the bands. So it'll be us and you guys, or us and A&T, or us and FAMU. And that rotation kind of went pretty much through my time at South Carolina State. So this year, it was going to be my first year, first time seeing Florida A&M. Matter of fact, we saw them twice that year. So it's probably the third week of the season. And we get to face off against FAMU in Charleston, the 100 versus the 101. And it was definitely a memorable battle that day. So let's talk about the Sargeant brothers to give a little bit of background. So we've got Lindsey Sargeant, who is the arranger for Florida A&M. And then we have Ronald Sargeant, who is the director for South Carolina State. So they're brothers, and both of them have really good reputations for, they're just great at what they do, both of them. And so that kind of created a rivalry between you two. And then also like your band's names, with FAMU being the Marching 100 and then South Carolina State being the Marching 101. I'm just giving some background so that people who listen to this who may not understand the rivalry, just giving them a little bit of context. So tell me about that battle.
Yes. So, the Sargeant brothers, rest in peace to our great Ronald Sargeant, were probably two of the GOATs when it came to arranging. when it came to arranging. I mean, those jokers could make any ensemble sound like a masterpiece just from their pen. And I guess they attribute a lot of that to knowing the ensemble that they're writing for, because you could look at some of Ronald's arrangements and see that he wrote differently. He would even take a piece like our fight song and he'll rearrange it every few years based on where his strengths were in the band. But I say that to say that really created an unspoken rivalry between the 100 and the 101. Whenever we saw them, it was always going to be wartime. Now, if you ever met Mr. Sargeant, he was a laid back, kind of nonchalant kind of guy. When we were playing FAMU, even Sarge got turned up. Well, our band practices during the week were from 4:45 to 7:15. Mm-hmm. And 7:15, we were off that field. We played FAMU probably at 8 o'clock, 8:30. Okay. Just to make sure every I was dotted, every T was crossed. But, that rivalry was, it was definitely mutual respect between the two bands for the most part. You have some jokers on one side or the other talking recklessly, but, there was definitely a mutual respect during that time between the two bands. But it was always a good, fun rivalry. And we knew each other so well. I can remember a time we were, Florida A&M had come to Orangeburg. This was my sophomore year. And so we were doing pregame and we had marched. We were getting ready to make the tunnel in the end zone for the football team to run out. So for us, and I'll give you an insight into our band, and when our percussion section cuts off, it's always a traditional roll off into cutoff. Knowing each other so well, when we got to the end of the cutoff, or we got to the end of the roll off before the cutoff, Florida A&M band comes in with In Storm and Sunshine. Like it was like we were sitting there like, what? So it was just that rivalry was just that intense. So when we went back to Tallahassee the following year, as soon as they got off the field for pregame, that was the first time I think I'd ever witnessed a zero quarter, and we had a zero quarter on through about a six quarter. You know what I mean? But it was just like that. It was all fun. You got to book up for that game most definitely. And there's a band in Greensboro I'll talk about in a little bit too that we used to get out. But that rivalry. But going back to the original question, got to see Florida A&M in that classic that early in that season. That was a big moment for us. Who else did we see freshman year? We saw John C. Smith. John C. Smith was always a small band, but they were very energetic. I know you saw him a lot of times. So you see Duncan Gray run up that stand and start dancing his coach line everywhere. Yeah. So that was an interesting game to see. You like, boy, these little guys think they're really doing something. You got to see them 96. Let me think back.
Well, you don't have to give me every game that you have,
right.
But
I won't. But the one I want to talk about, was that final game of the season for us.
Here we go.
Game, Yeah, get ready. That final game of the season for us. We came to Charlotte, North Carolina, to face our across-the-border rivals, the North Carolina A&T Blue and Gold Marching Tractors. And
whatever. Okay, so first of all, let me get you together, Jamie, because I'm going to need you to come with the truth, because I was in the band then, too. So that was my scene.
Oh, I know you were in the band, so you know what time it was.
Yeah.
So first of all, we were preparing for this week, and Mr. Sargeant says, we're going to do something with the A&T band. We're going to play a march together across the field. We're going to play Rolling Thunder. We're going to play it together. Mm-hmm. We're like, okay, that's cool. We're like, they can play it? And we can like, we're going to play it with
wait a minute. They can
play it. So, but no, we were getting up for that game. And if you know, in our band, it's tradition that everyone becomes a full-fledged member of their section before that last game. So everybody, you a new Tweety Bird, you a new Thundar brother, whatever the case may be. So we're all hyped up, man. We're riding up to Charlotte. We get there. I can't remember if we did the parade for that one or not. But we get to that classic, and man, we're in the stands, and it's a knockout drag out. We get to halftime, and of course, there's no contest. We mopped the floor with A&T that day.
And then you woke up.
Huh?
And then you woke up.
No. That's true. That's super true. But you know,
Okay.
it's crazy because you have alums on both sides talking about kill them, and you know you got people in the band. It's just a good old heated rivalry.
I'm editing out the foolishness. I'm doing that right.
I know you wanted to sound, A&T heavy, but that was an interesting rivalry. But no, seriously, I always had respect for the A&T band, and it was always a good rivalry. I talk a lot of trash, but I love all HBCU bands.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I was like, Jamie, you the trash talkingest person, but I mean, I got love for you, and I really have love for South Carolina State too.
Most definitely.
In a previous podcast, when I was talking to John Hodge, we were talking about how like that 86 South Carolina State band was no joke. Like, much respect goes to Mr. Sargeant. Now, 96 was kind of, but y'all's 86 band was good.
Here we go. Neither one of us were in the band that time. All right. So, yeah, but that rivalry was something that we look forward to. Even when they kind of dropped the classic and we went back to campus thing, which I was gone by then. But my freshman year, we were at what's the stadium? Memorial Stadium in Charlotte. And then we went to Panther Stadium probably for the next 3 years, maybe.
Hey, speaking of that, do you remember playing at the Carolina Panthers game? There was
Panthers game, 96 halftime.
Yeah, where both of our bands were. Okay.
Yeah. We smacked y'all in too. I tell you,
yeah, right.
It was happening to we smacked y'all up about 3 times that year.
Yeah, whatever.
Because as a matter of fact, the next year, that was the first year y'all came to Charleston. I don't know if you were still in the band then or not.
No, I didn't march that year. I was still in school. That was my last semester in school, but I
got it. Yeah, you know what? And you did the right thing. I should have done that my last year. I should have quit, but I was still marching.
Why do you say that?
Oh God! And you know what? And that lesson taught me a life lesson. When you feel like it's time to go ahead and go. You feel like it's time to go. I was like, man, I need to go. But I was on scholarship, so I needed my scholarship, whatever the case may be. But it was a good year. But I think I've been there one semester too long. I was starting to get the younger folk. That generational change has started. I'm one way as a bandsman, and these nonchalant jokers coming in the band. I'm like, who raised you? Jesus Christ. So I was more like a band staff person than a band member. I'm like, boy, what are y'all doing?
Right. Yeah. So let's talk about since you're a tuba player, let's talk about the whole Thundar Brothers rivalry.
Yes, indeed. We're going to tell the truth here today.
No,
we'll tell the truth.
I want to hear your side. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth. Just putting that out there.
All right. So Thundar Brothers Incorporated was founded in 1969 on the campus of South Carolina State University in the Marching 101 band. And I think you guys date back to the early 80s, maybe. And I do know the true story. And there ain't nothing wrong with it. I mean, it was a guy that transferred from South Carolina State to A&T, and he took the name with him. And the rest is history. I don't care about that. I mean, it's all good. It's a section name, okay? Some people get all being out of shape about it, but it is what it is. I mean, we have a similar story with FAMU. As far as the fanfare Stellaphone, there was a guy that transferred from Florida A&M to South Carolina State, brought the riff with him, and we played Stellaphone too. And we said it was ours, they said it was theirs, and it was a big fight. But that's petty. But that's what happened. I mean, but I'm good with it.
Okay.
But that rivalry, but we talked a lot of trash in that rivalry.
Oh yeah.
We talked a lot of trash in that rivalry. So my freshman year, I can remember, I think you guys might have had about 12 sousaphones, 96. And there were 8 of us that were freshmen. And my section leader was like, we were marching out. He was like, go get them. So boy, the 8 of us freshmen lined up in front of A&T's band. And we started No, never. Come on now. This is the real Thundar Brothers now. Come on. But we, just did that little thing, man. So, and I can remember, so it will always be a get at them at the end of the game type deal. Whether it be A&T marching out, A&T sousaphones at the fence trying to blow at us. We're in Panther Stadium. We leaving out and we sneaking back in there and trying to get a little bit. So that's what that rivalry was all about.
Lord have mercy. You know what? I'm gonna move on to your time after you graduated. So your day job is, well, you're a principal now at an elementary school, but you were a math teacher, right? Before that? Mm-hmm. Okay. And so when were you on staff? Because I feel like you were on staff for South Carolina State.
So you probably saw me at MEAC a couple times. After I graduated, Sarge called me and was like, Jamie, I really can't go to MEAC this year. Would you mind going with the pep band?
Oh, wow.
Me? You want me to go? All right, let's go. So, had that opportunity, and, I always kind of went back while he was still there and, just kind of lended a helping hand or gave some advice or whatever. But he gave me that opportunity.
The MEAC 99 basketball tournament was when all of the MEAC bands were there. And I think that has not happened since. And I think that's when a lot of us got to really know each other because like we had been talking to each other on the 5th, but then we got to see each other face to face. So like, John Lennard and like the folks from Morgan State, that's where I met a lot of them, some folks from Howard, you guys. Yeah, so it was a real cool event. I don't think it's been like that since.
Most definitely, man. It was just cool to meet everybody. And, you guys had something going with the 5th that hadn't been matched. So shouts out to you guys.
Thank you. So, all right. So now you are a elementary principal.
Middle school.
Principal? Oh my goodness. Okay. So tell me about that path. You started when you first graduated. Well, your degrees in math or math
education.
Okay.
Yeah. So math education. I jumped out. I graduated December 15, 2001. And December 18th, I was in a school writing lesson plans, getting ready for the second semester. So started teaching math. Crazy thing, my high school band director, my senior year, we got a new band director my senior year. My high school band director, I went to work at her alma mater, which she had come back to at that time to be the band director. She moved on and went into administration. And we got a new director at the school. So, I went and, offered my right hand a fellowship. I was like, yo, bro, listen, I marched the band at South Carolina State and I'll be willing to help you, whatever the case may be. He kind of blew me off. He was like, yeah, okay, all right, well, whatever. Okay. Mm-hmm. Got there and we were having a pep rally at the school. And for some reason, all the tuba players had got put in ISS or something like that. Mm-hmm. So they couldn't perform at the pep rally. So I just happened to go by the band room. And he was like, Brunson, didn't you tell me you played tuba? He's like, I need some help, man. I was like, man, give me the horn. So I got the horn and I had the music. I was like, let me see. So I
Wait a minute. You about to crank on some high schoolers?
It was a pep rally. It was just for the school. I ain't playing against nobody yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was like, give me the horn, man. So I started playing and the joker was like, I tried to tell you now. I tried to tell you it was real. I tried to tell you it was real. So then he's coming to me like, yo, man, I can give you more money than they give you to coach football. But at that time, I was fully immersed. I was like, nah, man, I'm good. Or whatever the case may be. So that happened. A couple transitions in directors. And then one of my brothers, my best friend, Devin, he came to be the band director at Lower Richland. And, that kind of created a crazy relationship. I also had a high school step team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I coached a high school step team for years. And I did that ever since I got there. So that was like my mentoring piece. So crazy thing. I hope none of the kids hear this, but Devin would call me and be like, yo, man, I want so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so to be my section leaders. I said, send them on over to the step team. So really and truthfully, we had like a high school KK side. I kind of developed his leaders for him, you know what I mean? And he would put them in leadership positions. And so it was that band step team connection that kind of made some great leaders. Like I probably made every drum major for him, and that's for 12 years. They came through my program. And 80% of his male section leaders anyway, because I had all males. So yeah, man, it was like that.
That's hilarious. So what's next for you? Like what do you have going on? I mean, I know it's COVID and everything, but
man, just seeing where this administration thing takes me, man, it's definitely when people tell you that the assistant principal and the principalship is different, that is not a lie. Because now, and I won't get it twisted. I worked very hard as an assistant principal, and I have some great assistant principals that work for me now. But being a principal, you have to have all answers. Hey, go ask her. Or go ask that guy. That's above my pay grade. I am the pay grade. You know what I mean? And not really like that because I ain't got it, so don't get that twisted. But you're at the top of the totem pole in the school. You're the CEO of that business or that operation. But the important piece about that is making sure you have good people that work with you. So when you need an answer, you can make that phone call or make a text message like, hey, what's XYZ? And they've already given you that information or they can give it to you just to make sure that your whole organization looks good. So as far as next, I don't know. I think it's kind of early to go to district office. I really truthfully only have about 8 more years before I can talk about that thing called retirement. But I have an 8-year-old, so I'm not retiring anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask about her. So are you taking her to South Carolina State games? Of course, before COVID.
Oh yeah, most definitely. She knows about the Bulldog. She wears Bulldog paraphernalia, and of course, especially at that young age, everyone talks about Clemson and the University of South Carolina. So, I make sure that she's educated about HBCUs. Both of us are South Carolina State grads, and my wife went to FAMU for grad school. So that's we have the whole experience, and we teach her about South Carolina State, teach her about Florida A&M and all the HBCUs, even that one in Greensboro. But but we're gonna let her make her own decision. Of course, we're gonna go where the money resides.
Of course, where the money resides. Yes,
yes, indeed. But we're gonna let her make her own decision. But we're gonna definitely fuel it with a lot of HBCUs. So hopefully she understands the importance of HBCUs by that time, and hopefully they aren't so watered down by the time she becomes of college age that it's not of importance, because it's it shouts out to schools like you in Florida A&M who are able to thrive. But a lot of our HBCUs are being attacked right now, and it's crazy.
So is she musically inclined?
She is, but she is more along the dance line right now. She loves to dance and she loves to draw. So, I don't know where that's going to go. I'm going to try to put an instrument in her hand. She says she wants to play an instrument. We'll see. I'm not going to try to force it on her, because, forcing things on kids makes it hate it. I'm not going to force it on her, but she loves the dance thing right now. She can't be no dancer in a band.
Why not?
Yeah, L to the no, bro. No, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna just leave that at that. So
because if she ultimately wants to do it, she can. But
you know what, you a trip. Okay. Anyway, the last thing I wanted to ask you was what advice do you have for somebody that might be thinking about marching in an HBCU band, or do you have any last words, anything that's on your heart that you want to get out?
A few things, man, to the future, man. Just be serious about your craft. Learn all you can about your instrument. Don't get trapped into one style. Oftentimes people see HBCU bands and they look at halftime, they look at cranking in the stands and things of that nature. But if you want to be serious about it, the spring semester is where it's at. It's all about concert band. Concert band makes you a better instrumentalist, makes you a better musician, all of that. And that's where you develop. Hey man, keep it going, man. HBCU bands are where it's at. Things have changed a lot so much. I don't know if I could be in the band today. Joe can't even play during the game, so it's tough. You only get 30 seconds, and then it's commercial. It's all about money. They got to pay the bills. I wish you could go back to the bands, be in the bands at the games, but I guess that's what the battle of the bands are for now. But
yeah, the whole experience is just different. Meaning that, you think about. I mean, I don't know about what y'all used to do, but I know when we would go on long trips and whatnot on the buses, people bring band tapes and stuff like that. You can't, there's no need to do that now. You pull up YouTube on your phone.
Right. Everybody's watching a different clip on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah. You'll have a whole season band tape. You pop it in and it'll be like, oh my goodness, we tripping. Yeah, man. You remember we used to trade tapes? That was crazy, man. Mailing tapes across the nation.
Yep, I had 2 VCRs and would use one as a dubbing device so that I could, and then you can tell when you get the old tapes because it's like a tape of a tape of a tape of a tape.
Oh God, you're all right.
Exactly.
And the arrangement, you done changed keys by 5 times. You're like, what?
Exactly. It's all warped and stuff.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Well, it was great talking to you. I'm so glad that we were able to cut up a little bit because I really, really enjoyed talking with you. So
most definitely.
You have listened to the HBCU Band Experience with Christy Walker. Interviews and editing conducted by yours truly, Dr. Christy Walker. The music is District 4 by Kevin MacLeod, and you can find this podcast on HBCUbandexperience.podbean.com. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. Take care.